Hi, this is Kim from Dorothy's Daughter. Today's a really special video. Laura Hawkins, who you'll know her as the Specky Seamstress, she got a bunch of us together and we are doing a Vlogmas as friends, and each day is a different sewing vlogger, and it's just kind of a day in the life or thoughts about Christmas or thoughts about whatever is going on in your life. It isn't necessarily a sew along or anything like that. So this is a little chatty. So if you want to see a sew along, you can move on to another video, but these are really fun, and I've gotten to know so much about the other vloggers in watching this. So anyway, yesterday was Danny from A Pocket or Two, and hers was really fun. She had her little dog walking with her and all kinds of fun things. So be sure and check that one out. And then tomorrow, I'll be passing the torch to Helen at Beautiful Bows and More. So be sure and tune in to those ladies, plus all the other ones that came before and will come after. This is day 17, so it's been going on for a little bit. I remember when I picked that date, when Laura put the sign-up thing on, I picked that date and I thought, oh, surely by then I'll have everything done. Well, I say that every year. I don't have everything done. I've still got a ton of stuff to do for Christmas, but that's really not the meaning of Christmas. So I don't want to dwell too much on what I don't get done. I want to have fun, and I want to celebrate the people in my life, and you know, celebrate the reason for the season. So if you never tuned into one of my videos before, Dorothy's Daughter, and it is named because my name is actually Kim. I get called Dorothy a lot. The name is actually Kim. Dorothy is my mom, or was my mom. She's in heaven now, but she taught me so much about life and sewing. So it's an honor to honor her with my videos. And she was quite a lady. Dorothy was a bilateral amputee, meaning both of her legs had to be removed. The doctors told her she was too old to learn how to walk with a prosthesis. And she proved them wrong. She not only walked, she danced. So yeah, nothing got in her way. She was just one crazy, wonderful woman. So it's my honor to be able to share with you in her name. So I do film twice a week usually, and it's sometimes Tuesday, sometimes Wednesday, and then we have Friday sewing school, which usually doesn't go up until pretty late on Friday night just because of my schedule. But Friday sewing school, we started at the very beginning, assuming you know nothing, and went all the way through. And Tuesdays are a little more chatty, but they're also meat. I do pattern reviews. We do some more advanced fit techniques and sewing inspiration. We do shop and style every season. I'm not shop and style. We do shop and sew every season, where I go out to the stores and see how patterns that are out compare to the styles that are in the stores. And that is a lot of fun to do as well. So that's just a little bit about me. Now my day. Today, no 2 days are the same for me, ever. And I like it that way because I'm kind of a person who needs to be on the go all the time. But today I spent the morning with my two littlest grandkids. Yesterday was my son's anniversary, so the kids spent the night. They are 2 and 4, and they're a hoot and a half. They are so cute. They're the same distance apart that my son and daughter were or are, and it's like a blast from the past to watch them play together. It's just so much fun. And they left a little while ago, and then my other 10-year-old granddaughter came. I have 6 altogether. I call them my 6-pack. But Naomi, the 10-year-old, came, and she has a list of crafts to do with me. There's things she wants to make that nobody else can know about, and we are going to tackle her list, and that's going to be fun today. I look forward to making a lot of memories with her today. Instead of doing my own Vlogmas, a lot of people are doing Vlogmas all month. I decided to just do 20 days of Christmas, and they're not just, I mean, I love chit chat, don't get me wrong, but It is a little chit chat, but there's also some kind of project idea every day. So far we've covered a journal, a zipped pouch, a crayon roll up, a photo quilt. I showed how to put photos on fabric, and I'm a photographer by trade for many years. I'm not doing it anymore because of an injury, but so I also just shared a little bit about how to take better holiday photos, and I've got a lot more planned. I am a little bit behind, but all 20 of them are going to get in here before the 24th. So, you know, that's just how it goes with Christmas time. It's just so busy. And I'm also a worship leader at my church. So that's always a priority at Christmas time as well. So just have to keep plugging. Anyway, I want to just say I do have, and here's where I'm going to get to be really me here. And I don't want anybody to be offended. But I have to be me. So what I'm going to say is that if you celebrate something other than Christmas, or if you don't celebrate at all, I'm very respectful of your choice. And I don't want you to think my sharing coming up here is anything but respectful to you, okay? But I have to be me. I have to be true to myself and be true to my God. So I'm going to talk a little bit about what Christmas means to me. So my earliest memories. When I was a child, I can remember back maybe about 3 and 4, not much before that, but and I just remember how cozy our house was at Christmas time. My mom and dad really didn't have 2 dimes to rub together, yet somehow there was always a magical Christmas. It wasn't always expensive Christmas, but it was always something that we treasured. It didn't really matter what it was, I don't think. I think it was more about the spirit in which it was given. And my parents were amazing in that way. We did crafts together. My mom and I would sew together. I always made gifts. It would feel really wrong to me not to make gifts. Not that I think you have to do that, but for me, I make a lot of gifts because it's just something I grew up doing. I remember one year my dad put this giant speaker and he wrapped it up like a present and he put it on the wall by the porch light. It was wrapped in like a plastic, it looked like gift wrap, and a big giant bow on it. And then he would just pipe Christmas music to the neighborhood, and it was really neat because people would, you know, come to the door and they would just appreciate it so much. And it was a really neat thing that he did. He was so way ahead of his time in that way, because now there are gadgets that'll do that with Bluetooth. And back then it was just a wired speaker giant speaker that he mounted to the wall on the outside of our house. I remember when I was about 3-ish, vaguely remember, although I still have the evidence. I sewed a nativity scene. My mom gave me some stuff and said, why don't you go make something? And I made like paper dolls of Mary, Joseph, and Jesus, and did very, very rudimentary or very simple robe on Joseph. I put Mary's little veil on, and baby Jesus even had the halo. And it's just, I still have it. It still goes on my tree every year. And it's just really special to me. Having lost both my parents, any little thing like that I can hang on to, I do. I also remember Christmas, I was a little older, when our parents gave us a choice. We heard about a family that was struggling because everything they had was lost in a house fire. And my dad sat us down and said, would you guys like to maybe get less presents, and we would all go get presents for the children in that family? And we all, of course, said yes, and we did that. And you know what? We didn't even miss the extra presents. I mean, it's just the joy. I remember that. I don't remember what we actually got. What I remember is that my dad encouraged us to think of other people. And that's really what, that's really the best way to celebrate Christmas. So music, there was always music. I'm a musician. I have been since I was really young. I played, believe it or not, the organ and took voice lessons for many, many years. And now I actually got a degree in worship arts and leadership. And so I do lead worship at my church. And music was always another one. I have 3 creative loves. I have music, sewing, and photography. And I've been blessed enough to do all 3 of them for most of my life. So that is more than most people can say. So I don't really know what it's like to actually work, because I've always done things I love to do. I did have a nursing career for several years. I did go to nursing school, and I still have a license, although nobody wants an RN who can't move and lift patients and be on the floor. So I don't really have any desire to go back to it. I think that God calls us to things as for a season sometimes. And I think I had my season that I was called to that. And then I stayed home. I homeschooled my children. And then God called me to my photography business. And then that had to end abruptly when I got injured. And now he's called me to share my love for sewing with you, and maybe teach some people how, because you know what? It's a lost art. There aren't very many people who do it anymore. And I want to be part of that wave of people who bring it back, because it truly is such a blessing. The blessings of sewing to me are, 1, an outlet for my creativity. 2, I don't have to worry about whether something's going to fit. When you wear clothes that fit, it's really hard to go backwards and wear a ready to wear thing that doesn't fit. So that is, to me, one of the hugest blessings. And the other thing is being able to sew things for people and bless the others with it as well. When our kids were small, I remember just being so blessed. Some of the most treasured times I can even imagine. My kids, one time coming back from my mother's on Christmas Eve, my husband and I drove past this house, and the dad would dress up like Santa Claus, and he was standing on the roof waving to cars as they went by. And our kids got so excited, and they're like, hurry up, Dad, he's almost at our house. And so my husband, drove home as fast as he could without breaking the law. And the kids went to bed just like that. And then they were having trouble. I can't sleep. And so my husband went outside and just rang some jingle bells outside their window. Oh my goodness, those kids were asleep in 10 seconds flat. It was just a fun day, a fun memory. And I also remember, we would hide things from the kids, and then we would be wrapping on Christmas Eve frantically after they went to bed. And we thought everybody was asleep. My daughter was 3, and all she talked about, she wanted go, my walking pup. And so we got it out to wrap it, and my husband put batteries in it, so it started doing its thing. And she came downstairs and she said, what do I hear? So we had to make that one not from Santa. That one had to be from us. So anyway, it was really funny, because she must have just been laying there listening. We couldn't really ever pull the wool. We still can't pull the wool over her eyes. So she's an awesome person. She grew to be a wonderful mom herself. So for me, Christmas will always be about Jesus, and I always strive to keep the main thing. So that is what is important to me, and he's the reason that I can smile through a lot of difficulties and losses. I can still smile because of him. And Jesus really is the reason for the season. And that is not meant in an offensive way to anyone, but that's what's important to me. I have just a poem I'll close with, and it's called One Solitary Life. Here is a man who was born in an obscure village, the child of a peasant woman. He grew up in another village. He worked in a carpenter shop until he was 30. Then for 3 years, he was an itinerant preacher. He never owned a home. He never wrote a book. He never held an office. He never had a family. He never went to college. He never put his foot inside of a big city. He never traveled 200 miles from where he was born. He never did one of the things that usually accompany greatness. He had no credentials but himself. While still a young man, the tide of popular opinion turned against him. His friends ran away. One of them even denied him. He was turned over to his enemies. He went through the mockery of a trial. He was nailed on a cross between 2 thieves. While he was dying, his executioners gambled for the only property that he ever owned: his coat. When he was dead, he was laid in a borrowed grave through the pity of a friend. 19 long centuries have come and gone, and today he is the centerpiece of the human race and leader of the column of progress. I am far within the mark when I say that all the armies that ever marched, all the navies that were ever built, all the parliaments that ever sat, and all the kings that ever reigned, all those put together have not affected the life of man upon this earth as powerfully as has that one solitary life. Be blessed and have a joyous Christmas and holiday season. Merry Christmas, happy holidays, and happy sewing.